Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Pre-Market News and Views by In the Money Stocks. Today is Tuesday, July 10th, 2012. There's a lot to go over, so let's jump right into the charts here. We'll start off with the usual S&P 500 E-mini futures. It's been a wild ride already this morning. Futures were down lower early in the session. Took a big move higher all the way up to the 1355 level. Now they are starting to pull back. But this is what you need to see, the U.S. dollar index. Look at the dollar, same exact inverse move. Dollar has just been surging over the past hour and actually went from negative territory to positive territory. And when the dollar moves higher, the markets will deflate. That's pretty much the gist of it in the bottom line. And we'll see how high this dollar can go. If the dollar can break out through these levels, these markets could be in a little bit of trouble. Now, earlier today, there was some news from Mario Draghi. That's the ECB president or ECB boss from the European Central Bank. He basically said that they're going to speed up the funding in emergency loans to help the Spanish banks. So we'll have to see how much that does help. But nonetheless, I think they're going to put in about $36 billion or 30 billion euro into the Spanish banks right away, and we'll see how that works out. What it did do was it did bring down 10-year Spanish debt yields underneath the 7% level, but watch those yields, because if those yields start to spike, and I think they're spiking now just because the dollar is making a move up, that could be problematic. So we got to watch that very closely. This morning, however, all the European markets are rallying higher. Spain is up by 1%. The FTSE 100, which is England, they can print their own money, is up by 0.8%. You have the German DAX up 1.22%. And I believe the French CAC 40 is up 1%. It looks like Italy's up 1.5%. So the markets overall are doing fairly well this morning, but we'll have to watch them once the U.S. markets begin trading. So futures are continuing to fade a little bit here, and that's really all on the back of some dollar strength. And all you got to do is look at the dollar chart, and you'll see the U.S. dollar index chart's probably the most important chart that anybody can follow at this time. So, again, we'll see how this all plays out. But the dollar's making a big-time move to the upside here just a little bit before 8:30 a.m. So we'll see if the dollar can sustain itself and continue to move higher. Markets will deflate and trade lower. All right, let's talk about some other things going on out there. One, we have to talk about China. Last night, China had some big economic news. The news was mixed, but for the most part, it was weaker than expected, if you ask me. The Chinese market last night, I should say the Shanghai index finished flat. It was just down 7 points, or down 0.3%. The Asian markets in a whole were just down slightly, with the exception of the Indian Sensex, which was up 1.3%. Therefore, if the U.S. markets are strong today, traders should watch the Indian ADRs. They'll most likely do pretty well. You can watch stocks like Tata Motors. That may catch a bid. You can see it already had a bid earlier, coming back down. Infosys, INFY is another one. You could look at WIP. These are just some Indian ADRs that are out there. And then obviously you have the IFN, which is the India Fund. So you can watch that there as well. But that's only if the U.S. markets are strong. If the U.S. markets are not strong, believe me, you don't want to be in these Indian ADRs at this time. All right, let's take a look at a few other things out there quickly. Oil and gold. First off, you're going to see gold is up about $5 this morning to around $15.94 an ounce. Let's take a look at the GLD. The GLD yesterday closed at around 154. Today it's trading at 154.44. It was a little bit higher, has faded since the dollar has caught that bid just a little while ago. You can see how gold has started to come back in. Let's take a look at the USO this morning. First off, spot oil or light sweet crude is down about 65 cents on the back of the stronger dollar to $85.34 a barrel. The USO not quite the same, but you'll see that the USO has faded and now trading right around the 31.92 level. So a little pullback there coming into oil, especially as the dollar catches a bid. All right, so again, watch that dollar chart. It will tell you everything you need to know. And we'll see where it goes from there. Let's take a look at some stocks in the news today, because you do have a lot of stocks in the news. We're going to start off with, I have on my list Alcoa. Alcoa is basically flat from yesterday's close. The stock did spike after earnings. However, it came back in. It's trading just a few pennies higher than yesterday's close. If the stock does move higher, watch $9.15 for resistance. After that, it would be $9.50 for resistance. I don't think the stock has a lot of strength behind it. So again, watch those resistance levels going forward. Let's take a look at AMD. They reported yesterday and warned after the closing bell that they're getting hurt by Europe and China. Right now, AMD closed at $5.62. It is trading at $5.10 at the moment. Leave it alone. Stock looks like it wants to go lower. There's going to be some short-term support around $4.73 if it gets there. There'll be some more support around $4.33 if it gets there. That's it. Other than that, leave it alone. There's nothing to do there with that stock. Let's take a look at Intel. Intel reported that they are buying a large piece of ASML. That's a Dutch semiconductor company. Intel is trading down a little bit from yesterday's close. I don't see anything great or terrible on Intel at the moment. Still a fair amount of support at around the $24.75 level, and after that all the way down at $24. So that's what I'm seeing for Intel at the moment. But you never know if Intel is going to get dragged down with this AMD news, since they are in the same sector, and AMD was citing basically weakness in Europe and China as the reason for the lower earnings. All right, let's take a look at Patriot Coal. Stock filed for bankruptcy. It's trading down to 36 cents. There is absolutely nothing to do here. Let it go out of business. Let it restructure itself, and then it'll come back again under a new ticker symbol. Nothing to do here at this stage of the game. Also getting dragged down with this news is JRCC and probably the rest of the coal names. There's nothing to do on JRCC either. Leave it alone. Let them fall, and let the chips fall where they may, and then you pick up the pieces after it's all said and done, the way capitalism is supposed to be done. Let's take a look at MAKO, which is Mako Pharmaceutical. This stock is getting hammered today. Closed at $24.61. Today it's trading at $14.87. Stock has a little bit of support at $14. It looks like it's kind of down there already. I'd be real careful there. After this, though, there's really not a lot to do till it gets to $10. So just leave it alone. 14, if it gets to 10, you want to nibble there. Hey, what the heck? You could take a shot. $10 looks to be a lot of support on the charts. That could be a potential little support area. How great of a bounce will it be on a day like today? I have no idea. But all I'm saying is that this is a weak stock. You want to be very, very careful with this. 14, a little bit of support, but still pretty dangerous. And then you have $10, which is very good support and probably holds up there. All right, so that's what I'm seeing as far as stocks are concerned. There's a lot more things out there that are moving today, but no real major movers. I think that's pretty much the gist of it. But there are some things out there that are moving, but nothing that I saw that looked major to me. Again, watch that US dollar index. That'll tell you everything you need to know. It always does. Sometimes it's not as tightly correlated as you always want it to be, but nonetheless, we're back into trading volume. The holiday is over. I think that the markets are going to respond exactly to whatever the dollar is telling us, and the dollar is just telling us there are problems in Europe or problems in Asia. That's all it is. And dollar moves up. It's not because the dollar is strong or they're not printing as much money. It's just the contrary. They are printing a ton of it, but it's just the best currency in a bad house, bad block. So best house in a bad block, so the saying goes. And we'll leave it there. Futures right now down from the highs, still positive by a quarter point, and we'll see how it plays out from here. Have a great trading day, everybody, and we'll see you on the charts tomorrow. Take care, everyone.